Pick a move in the ring. You can hit me with a word you fling.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's South China Morning Post in Phuket, Thailand. We're doing it round 2 with Sasha Palatnikov. We tried last night, but we had some technical difficulties. But Sasha is back after training. We've both got better Wi-Fi. We both got better scenery behind us. How was it, Sasha, and how are you doing?
Oh, it was good, man. It was good. Got some work in with my coach, John Wood. Hit some pads. Got that last little sweat in before, complete the cut. I got 6 pounds to go. And, just ready to weigh in and get some fluids and food in me.
Yeah, we were talking about it last night, but we're going to have to talk about it again. But you got to tell us, Sasha, you're fighting May 20. You're back in action already. Quick turnaround. Future Stars of MMA, this card is called. Tell us a little bit about this fight.
I fought back April 2nd. Got a first round finish and just wanted to get things going, get back into competing as soon as possible. And I had a few fights that were potentially short notice, maybe jumping back in the UFC, but they didn't pan out. And so I was just been staying ready, keeping my weight low, staying active in the gym. And I had another 2 opportunities to fight again come up that the opponents pulled out. They didn't want to do it. So unfortunately that didn't happen. And then one of my teammates who was originally supposed to fight my current opponent, he got an injury, so he had to pull out. And then they asked me if I wanted to take the fight on short notice, 10 days, and here we are.
Yeah, you have a bit of a knack for doing that, don't you? Taking fights on short notice. You took your UFC debut on short notice. I've known a few fights you've taken on short notice. Do you feel sometimes that brings out the best in you? I know that you want a full camp, don't you? But you seem to thrive in that situation sometimes.
Yeah, I like it better, I think. It's like you don't really have to dwell on anything or overthink anything. You just stay ready. You're in the gym. It doesn't matter. Like, unless you're like maybe going against someone that's like a very specific skill set that's very strong in it, and then maybe I could do more concentration on how to like defend that or how to fight that. But like going into these kinds of fights, I just feel like I'm at a level where I can just, as long as I'm healthy, just be actively competing, and then these opportunities that come up are just a good example of me being able to just be active, because I want to show like the UFC, the bigger shows that I'm a fighter. Like, that's really what I am. I'm a full-time fighter. That's what I do. So that's just what I'm trying to show with good performances and get back to where I belong.
Yeah, and it's just been a roller coaster ride for you, hasn't it, the last 18 months or so? Signing with the UFC, having a brilliant debut with the 3rd round TKO fight of the night, performance bonus, then 2 disappointing losses, which you were telling me you were injured for. You had a bad hamstring. And then you didn't get the opportunity you thought you would get for that 4th fight. But now you came back and had a quick win at ex-MMA. And it's all systems go again, isn't it? It's just been a lot of ups and downs.
For sure. I mean, I feel like as with life, as with any journey that's like that, when we go through, my last year I had a lot of personal stuff going on. I was in a long-term relationship. And that had come and it was just kind of got to a point where it was affecting me mentally in my training and my, in my focus. And looking back on it, it was definitely something that, like, it did play a big part. But now it's just, and dealing with injury is always a problem. Believing you can fight through injury and get a good result when you're not 100% healthy is just, it works sometimes and then it doesn't. So I was in the case of it doesn't, especially knowing I was going to have to grapple and wrestle guys that weren't going to stand with me. So it was just a matter of just, getting healthy, which the UFC, thankfully, they gave me like a 4-month program to get better. I was getting injections and PRP and stem cells and all kinds of stuff injected in me and just to help with my recovery with the hamstring, because I had a tear, and it was just something that it was so hard to train with, to grapple with, and I just avoided grappling just so that I could make sure that I was in shape to get ready for these fights, that I could get paid, and because I just felt I wasn't in a place to like turn down the UFC and say no. But also I needed to be competing and I needed to be making money. So, you know, all these things are factions that had to just be calculated, and I took the risk and you know, I failed, you know, and I paid the price of it by getting released, but that's fine. Like it's a learning process, and like the comeback will be even better, regardless if I'm in the UFC or any other promotion for that matter. I just want to be competing actively. Like I don't want to just like fight once a year. Like I want to be, especially at this time, like this point in my life where I'm healthy, I feel strong. Like that's the time when I should be active, you know? So I need to be active. I need to be fighting. And I hope that I can find that path where I'm getting to actively fight. And I hope it's going to be, you know, at the big shows.
And you had a housemate, didn't you, for a while, who is also now out here, Frank Hickman, who is one of the head coaches at Bang Tao, Muay Thai and MMA. He was living with you, I think, in your house in Vegas while he was out there cornering Alex Volkanovski and doing Tough, Ultimate Fighter. How did he help you as well?
Oh, he helped me a ton. He came in at like the perfect timing. Like he actually came in a month before, maybe a month or two before my fight, my last fight in UFC in August. And then from then on, like he helped me improve my wrestling so much. Like we were wrestling a lot, and you know, he's smaller than I am in weight, but like just his wrestling and strength alone and fitness makes up for it. Like he's got, like you ask any of the guys at Syndicate, they'll tell you like Frank is just incredibly strong, fast, agile, incredible grappler. And I learned a lot for sure. And he was just a positive dude to just have around. Dude trains so much. You probably saw it yourself. Like he trains just as hard as the pros, if not more.
I'll tell you, man, he got off the plane after he finally came back from about a year away. He had the four flight journey, you know, he was stopping all over the world. And then he was straight back in the gym doing a fitness class and then teaching a wrestling class. Unbelievable work ethic on that guy.
Yeah, for sure. He's super hardworking, both him and George. And that's why they're going to have a successful gym. And that's why they've had so many successful fighters, you know, the guys that they work with. I mean, the first time I got the pleasure of working with them was in 2017. I came out to Tiger to do a camp to get ready for my first Just MMA fight. That fight with Kosa Kyun. And those guys, you know, they introduced like wrestling and MMA in Asia, in my opinion, like to a high level, to the highest level, because people were just traveling all over the world just to train with them and get on the mat, because they were just, the mat that I shared at that time were literally, was insane. Like that was the most insane mat when you think about it, like looking back, you know, like where they are right now. Like every single one that's popping in my head is like top 10, you know, it's like pretty wild. And at that time they weren't even in the UFC. So, but I knew it. Like, I remember when I first saw like Rafael Fiziev, like I was like, this dude is like the best fighter I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? I'm like, why is this dude fighting in the UFC yet? But now everyone starting to know who he is, and dude's a beast. And there's tons of other guys, and you know, it's cool that this side of the world is starting to flourish in the MMA world, you know?
Yeah, you were thinking of ever coming out here again? I know so basically you left Hong Kong, didn't you, about 2 years ago? You wanted to pack up your life, go to Las Vegas, and really get amongst it. And that landed you a spot in the UFC, worked out well. But would you ever consider maybe coming out to Thailand again? Not Hong Kong, of course. We both know Hong Kong's a bit messed up right now. But would you consider Bang Tao?
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm definitely coming back to Bang Tao. I'm actually... I'm not going to give too much information, but I'm coming to Thailand very soon. But but I'll be in Bangkok on some other stuff with somebody else, some other A-list people. So
interesting.
Yeah, you'll definitely get some info on that. Check in, you know, a couple weeks after my fight, see what I'm up to, and you'll get a sneak peek of what's going on. But wow. I don't think I'm going to be able to pop over to Phuket. Unfortunately, I tried to get Frank to come over to us, but he's going to New Zealand. I wanted him to come and do some of the wrestling training with us, but unfortunately he's going to be out of town. So, but yeah, no, I was definitely excited with the prospect of heading back to Thailand, heading back to Asia. So I'll be there for, I think, 9 days. If all goes to plan, that's the plan. And yeah, I'm excited to get back over there, and I need to get back to Hong Kong. I just hope they just get rid of that quarantine stuff. And
well, I'm about to fly back next week, I think, and I've got my hotel booked. But I was going to go a month ago, and then they canceled it 2 days before I flew. So I got to spend another month here. I'm very happy. I'm enjoying.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a bonus for sure. But it's definitely annoying that you have to go through that 7 days. It's ridiculous. And you're vaccinated too, right? So it's like,
yeah, I've ticked all the boxes, but anyway, Hong Kong is ridiculous right now. Yeah. But I bet you're glad you left in hindsight, considering what's happened there.
The timing was perfect, you know. I mean, Ramona followed suit, and then and then we got young Max Lieli as well. So
has Max gone out there?
Yeah. So
I
created a little trailblaze from Hong Kong to Vegas, you know?
You have, yeah. Because not sure if everyone, maybe not everyone knows, but you did make history by winning that fight in the UFC. You were the first Hong Kong fighter in the UFC, first Hong Kong fighter to win in the UFC. Obviously, Ramona has followed you. She suffered a defeat on her debut, but she's back in Singapore in a few weeks.
Hell yeah.
You're gonna be keeping your eye on that. That's a good show, isn't it? I think, unfortunately, I'll be maybe in the middle of quarantine in Hong Kong or something. But
are you?
Everyone's gonna go over there from the gym here. We've got Yuri Prochazka is here as well, and Zhang Wei Li, Tai Tuivasa. Just a crazy mix.
I know, that's dope. You know, that's like the spot. I mean, like, now that the world is starting to open up a bit, like, I know a lot of people at Syndicate and out here in Vegas, they want to get out to Thailand, you know. So Frank made a lot of connections out here while he was here. So he definitely opened the doors to Bang Tao to a lot of high-level people. So you're going to see I'm sure, tons and tons of people coming in and out of that place.
Yeah, I'm hoping to speak to Frank. We've been trying to set up an interview. I've been bugging him for one for a while. But I was going to ask him as well. But maybe you could shed a bit of light on, what was he doing out there? He was also helping you, but he was kind of spreading the word, wasn't he, about this new super gym that they were making?
I mean, he wasn't even being like that crazy about it. Like, he wasn't like, no, he's a humble dude. He was out here just working. He got some good opportunities. He was teaching at Syndicate. He was teaching wrestling, you know, so he was making good income, and then he was here for his boys, you know, whoever was coming through and needed him to corner in Vegas, he was here. And at that time, everyone was coming through to Vegas. You know, we had Dan Hooker here as well. Dan Hooker was just staying up down the road, and he was coming through. We had the whole crew come through and stay, and Volkanovski came by here, and the whole, everyone connected to Frank in some way or another, made their way through. But he just basically got stuck out here because of the whole quarantine situation with Thailand. He just didn't want to go back and forth through that, and was just kind of waiting for that to finally end. And when it did end, things were kind of going good for him financially. So I'm sure why not just stay a bit? He had some more fights scheduled with the boys. So he's like, all right, and we got along really well, and I had no problem with him being my roommate. It was good. So he's super clean, so yeah, it was a win-win for me. And plus he was getting me to come to wrestling. He was getting on me if I wouldn't go to class, and stuff like that. He was good to have around. It was pushing me to wrestle more, because it's something that, coming off of my hamstring made me kind of I was a little bit, I don't want to do this move, I don't want to do that. But now, after working with him, I learned so much that I've improved my wrestling so much, and I just feel like I'm so much more confident there because of Frank. So it was good. It was a good time. Yeah,
you've evolved a bit, haven't you? From what you were telling me last night when we tried to record this interview, that you've always just been a striker, and you guys don't want to strike with you, but now you want to get to the point with your wrestling and your grappling that they don't want to grapple with you either. That's the plan going forward now?
For sure. I mean, I just thought like legit all of my MMA fights until like this last one, and then my title fight, like that one just I changed my mind like in the middle of the fight after like dealing with the dude, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna grapple now. But otherwise, every single one of my fights, all I'm ever thinking is as long as I'm standing, I'm going to win. Like, that's all I think about. And I'm like, all they're going to do is eventually shoot on me. So be ready. Like, that's all I'm ever thinking. And then I'm like, that's the stupidest fucking like mindset ever, you know? And I'm like, especially when you know, like that's going to happen. So a lot of the times I was getting into these grappling situations and I'm like, well, these are completely unnecessary. I can completely shut these down or like submit them or put them in a situation where they don't want to shoot on me again. And that was something I had to kind of implement into my game more. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to do jujitsu. No. You have to incorporate, you know, MMA wrestling and grappling and make it work with your striking. It's not, you can't just, you know, take these little blocks. So it took time to kind of create this scenario where it's like, oh, if you're going to shoot this single leg, I'm almost going to give it to you because I'm going to elbow you in the head. So it's like there's just a lot of variables now that it just kind of changed. And I'm just happy to like put people down and be like, okay, now you got to get up, you know, and even if you are going to get up, no problem. It's like, still you had to get up and use that energy. And then you got to get back to my striking, you know? So I'm just kind of trying to create that when I fight is like, I'm ready to go everywhere. Like if people are going to shoot, I'm ready to just scramble, you know, and if people want to strike, you know, I'm ready to strike. So it's just kind of that mindset, that mentality. It's like, I can't go in there defensive. I have to just go like, let's go, you know? But like if I fight against a 5-time world champion jiu-jitsu guy, I'm going to be a way more different approach. But if I'm going in there against a guy that I feel like, I'm probably better than him everywhere, I can just fucking go to town and not have to worry too much, you know?
Yeah, it was interesting. Alex Volkanovski was talking about that when he did a seminar here at Bangtao, and I interviewed him. And Superbon had also done a seminar, and Superbon was saying he wants to get into MMA and he would like Alex to train him. And Alex said, "Oh, I could make that guy a beast." But he was saying these guys who have the world-class striking, it's sort of about teaching them to get back to their feet if they get taken down. Like, do you see that approach as opposed to, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I'm not going on there and start trying to play a game of jiu-jitsu. No, I have to wrestle to get back to my feet and create space and get back striking. Because, like, if you notice now, it's like you don't notice a lot, maybe bar like Islam Makhachev, like there's not many guys that are just taking people down and holding them down for the whole round. Like it's not, remember that used to kind of happen a couple years ago, you know? But now you see a lot of people get takedowns and then they're already back up. They're already like, they know the grips, they know how to, the technique to get back up, use the cage, you know, underhook, separate. Like everyone knows that. Like that's like, there's a blueprint. So it's getting harder and harder and harder to hold people down, which I appreciate. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's going to make people like, shit, now we got to get back to striking. Cause like, you know, the MVP Storley fight, for example, a lot of people were like, man, like, I don't even want to give Storley that fight. He didn't even do any damage. He just held onto his legs and laid on him. And like, and MVP was landing all the strikes. Even Scott Coker said like, he thought MVP won. So, it's just, it kind of shows you like MMA, just like kind of life is just up and downs. Like sometimes everyone's just super grapple heavy and like smashing and kebabing everyone. And then sometimes everyone just like counteracts it. Oh, we know how to get back striking. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just kind of that. And also a lot of the times you got to play the rounds correctly. Like for example, in the Jan Blachowicz Rakic fight that just happened, there was a takedown there, and like he kind of just rode the round out, and he's like, man, in his mind, he's like, man, I lost that round. He's like, but it's a 5-round fight. And that was also another thing. Like I get taken out in the first round. It's like, just chill, work your way up. There's no rush. Don't make mistakes. Don't give them the opportunity to get your neck, you know, stuff like that. So it was just kind of more of a process that, you know, I just kind of started learning more and more and watching and just stuff that I had already known, but I just needed to like kind of refine and just get more mentally into it, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like, that's the goal is, like I said, to get back standing up. And if I get smashed by someone who's better than me on the feet, then maybe I'm gonna be the one inflicting that grappling side, you know? So it's just, that's the game we play. And like, we just got to sharpen all our tools and be ready for what's going to be presented to us on the day. Like on Friday, you know, there's just, that's a mystery as well. You know, don't know what I'm really going to get. Bit of a brawler, you know, but
I just saw your cat behind you there. He blends in. Yeah. Yeah. So you get weigh-ins tomorrow then, and then the big fight Friday night, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what's the process from here? Yeah, you sort of just getting off that last bit of weight.
Yeah, no, I'm probably going to like take a nice relaxing bath, hopefully not too hot, just maybe hopefully get a couple pounds off. And then tomorrow I'll wake up and see where I'm at. I'll probably be 3 to 4 pounds. Same thing. I might just jump in the bath. I have a sauna where I live, so I might just get in the sauna. Really just, but I've got I'll wake up and just have a bit of time, which I don't like because the weigh-ins are at 2, which I think this is the latest I've ever weighed in all of my professional career and amateur. So it was a bit strange. So I just got to kind of wait a little bit. I'll just kind of chill in the morning. Unfortunately, not have anything to drink. And then, yeah, just shed off the last couple pounds, go over there, drive over, make weight, and I guess face off, see the dude, and then get back on the hydration, start eating. I'm excited to put the food back in. I've been craving some stuff. Nothing too crazy, but I'm just excited to not have to just only drink water, you know? Yeah. And yeah, get a good night's rest. And then I got the whole day Friday just to kind of rest, chill. I'll probably go hit pads or something. And then, you know, get a little bit of a sweat and then have a good meal. And then I'll probably won't be fighting until maybe 9 p.m., 10 p.m. local time here. So I'll try to take a nap or I'll try to lay down for a little bit and then head over to the arena and take care of business.
It's a bit better for you. I think you were fighting in the morning, right? In the UFC in a couple of times, weren't you?
Bro, yeah. My second fight in the UFC was at 8:30 in the morning. Yeah, it was really. And they told me
how is it? How can you be violent at 8:30 in the morning? I just can't think.
Bro,
of it.
It makes zero sense. Like, and the problem was if they told me like maybe like a month before, like, oh yeah, you're fighting at this time, I would have been like sick. I would be waking up at like 5 a.m, like making sure I'm like active at that hour. But they told me 10 days before, and it like fucked me up, bro. Like I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning, like. Bro, but I mean, same. I guess, but I was thinking about it. I don't want to be like, but my opponent was from Florida, so his like body clock was actually 3 hours ahead. Mm-hmm. So in reality, that's like when he trains. So in my mind, I was like, it wasn't a disadvantage for him actually, but it was a disadvantage for me. So I'm not making any excuses.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was just. It was definitely an experience I didn't enjoy, and I'm sure the people fighting over in like Singapore and you know Abu Dhabi, you know, can attest it sucks ass. But
the first UFC show I went to in Manchester for ESPN, Bisping Henderson 2. I think those guys got on at about 4:30 a.m. So it's. Yeah, so they had to stay on a weird American time the whole trip they were there. Right? They were waking up in the afternoon, and
that's why
I don't know how you guys do it. You're all very professional. I'm amazed by what you guys go through.
Yeah, people have no idea. We definitely don't get the credit or the financial credit for what we do.
Yeah. Well. Will you be able to carry a Hong Kong flag this time as well for this fight? I know you weren't able to in UFC. There was a fishy issue.
Hell yeah, I am. Definitely. That's definitely not an issue for sure. I don't know why it ever was. It's like the dumbest thing ever. But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be rocking the Hong Kong flag. That's another piece of history. First time I've ever main evented, headlined event. This is like, I wouldn't say like a massive show, but like this is 128 shows, tough enough. Like Ronda Rousey, Khalil Roundtree, like tons of UFC fighters have come through this. So to just make my debut in the promotion and main event, it's a nice thing to see my face on 32 banners, billboards around Las Vegas. It's kind of trippy. You know what I mean? Just a kid from Hong Kong who like dreamed to to just move to Vegas and fight in Vegas and have the opportunity to compete. So it's definitely like pretty cool. Like I'm very appreciative that I got this opportunity, and again, to fly the Hong Kong flag. They've never had a Hong Kong representative in their promotion. So yeah, I definitely appreciate it, and I think it's going to be fun, and it's going to be another stamp, on the passport or history book of this career, and I'll be able to say I main evented in Las Vegas.
That's going to be awesome. I think, I saw you'd sort of talked about that as well with, I think it was JHK on the All-Star about the flag. I don't want to like go over it, but now UFC's removed flags, haven't they? Were you the kind of man that caused that whole thing?
So wait, are flags like completely removed?
Yeah, I think you're not allowed to come to the ring with a flag at all, or the cage, sorry, Oxford. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're going to flash up a flag on the screen for fighters when they come out, but you kind of brought that to the forefront, didn't you? Because they'd never had a fighter from Hong Kong before, and then they're like, oh God, this is going to cause some issues here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I literally was the beginning. If you think about it, like the only time before was like Edmund Shabazian, and like he got like fined for it or whatever. But I think
Benil Dariush had something as well with Syria, the Syrian flag. I hope I got that right, but yeah. So like not a lot had happened with it, and then like all of a sudden like it happened with me, and it definitely got spoken about quite a bit. Like people were asking me, and then like I had to be like kind of hush hush on it because like I didn't want it to like affect anything, even back home. Just like for my family and stuff, so I didn't want to like say anything. But like in reality, it's just like it's the dumbest shit ever. Like, come on, like it just makes no sense. It's like, why? If anyone's feelings are being hurt, like that's just like offensive in the first place. Like, what is offensive about representing I can't represent China. I'm not allowed to represent China. I've literally represented Hong Kong since I was a kid. I have no choice. So it would be false for me to claim any other place. Like it'd be a lie. So they're like, oh, you can, they actually said to me like, oh, you can do China. Like you can have China because to wear it on your patch, like on your walkout jacket has like the flag and stuff and the nationality. So they're like, you can't have Hong Kong, but you can have China. I'm like, the fuck would I have China for? And then they're like, you can have USA, you can have Scotland, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not who I represent. You know what I mean? That's not where I'm from. Like, So I was thinking, like, if I go back to UFC, I might just alternate every time I fight, like just for for fun. Like I don't know, just Scotland one fight, USA. Scotland, yeah.
It'll be like a raffle. I'll have someone like ask on my social media, like, hey, what do you want me to be? Because I'm not allowed to. You got to
create your own flag,
Seriously, that's probably super illegal too. But no, yeah, it was definitely a bummer, dude. Like I really, really wanted to fly the Hong Kong flag in a UFC cage, and then when I got told that I wasn't allowed to, and bro, they totally like, you thought like, you'd think UFC was like, super open and stuff. And like, bro, they shut down so much of my shit. You remember how I came out with like the pink, the neon pink and green ankle sleeves?
So I like those. Yeah.
Yeah, too. And bro, so my debut, they didn't say nothing. Like, obviously I went out warm, did whatever, and was all good. My next fight, they're like, oh, you can't wear those. And I was like, what? Literally just before I'm about to go out into the cage.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, you can't wear them. I'm like, what do you mean I can't wear them? They're like, you have to wear these. So they gave me some slippery ass fucking brand new black ones that I had never ever worn before. And I was slipping in the cage and I was like, this is bullshit. Because those are like, those things I've had forever. Like they grip exactly how I need them to grip, like where I grip and stuff. So like I know my footing with it, and like when I wore those, I was kind of bummed out. And then I wanted to wear them again in my third fight, they wouldn't allow it. And then my Hong Kong flag mouthpiece, they fucking marked it out. So I was like, yeah. God. So I was like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, sorry, we have to do this. And I'm like, but why? And then I had another mouth guard made that said plus 852 for my next fight. Yeah. And then they were like, no, you can't wear that. And they asked me, they're like, what does this mean? I'm like, oh, it's my favorite number. And they're like, no, that's the area code of Hong Kong. I was like, what the fuck? Like, who would get offended by this? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, so, like, yeah, they're literally just trying not to piss off Chinese people, I guess, or investors or whatever, for no reason. Because I really don't even think they would give a fuck. Like, honestly, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand this. And it's like if a Chinese fighter wanted to represent Shanghai, in some manner, would they say you can't do that? Or I know it's not the same. I'm not.
I mean, like some fighters here, like for example, like someone like Bryce Mitchell, like if he could, he would have like the Arkansas flag.
Yeah.
You know, but like that's just again depend. Like it's like you're supposed to have the freedom of choice, but the UFC doesn't give you that. Like it used to. Back in the day when you could have your own sponsors and stuff like that. But now everything's very corporate and like, they're with ESPN, Disney. So it's like everything has to be. I remember when I fought on ABC and they were like, you can't swear. Like if you just, whatever you guys do, just don't swear. If you're on the pay-per-view, you can say whatever the fuck you want. But when you're on like ABC or ESPN prelims, like no swearing. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And then they end up, of course, like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, and they keep them out and shit. But
they're lucky they didn't get that guy last week. And who was cornering Andrea Lee?
Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah, he was so like dirty Brazilians and stuff. If that had been on ABC, they would have been in trouble.
He's like a 45er, I think, right? In the UFC?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, they dodged a bullet there, but anyway, man, I've kept you for half an hour here, so I'll let you get back to. I know you got to get the preparations going.
I ain't doing shit. I'm just sleep.
Well, it's a fine process, You gotta
get the mind right, meditate.
Yeah. But it's been great to catch up with you again, and I know you do have a lot of fans in Hong Kong. Just yesterday, I was at lunch with a few people from the gym, and they were from Hong Kong, and I mentioned I was going to speak to you, and they're like, "Oh, Sasha, yeah, we love him. Used to train with him at all these different random small gyms in Hong Kong." And let it not be forgot, you are really a true pioneer for Hong Kong MMA. And you always will be, whatever happens next. But there's plenty of chapters still to write in the story, right?
Heck yeah. Lots of exciting shit to go down. So, yeah, tune in May 20. Let's get it. It'll be fun.
All right. It's been a pleasure, Sasha Palatnikov. Everyone tune in, and we'll hopefully catch up with him afterwards. And, it's been great, man. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir.